How's it going, guys? Today we're back again with another video. Today we're going to be replacing the oil filter housing gasket. Very common issue on these N54s. I've already replaced it once about 50,000 miles ago, maybe like 40,000 miles ago, but you guys won't be able to see it from here, but it is wet, like on the bottom of the block, or the side of the block right here. It's a bit wet. Getting a little bit on the serpentine belt. Serpentine belt is showing signs of wear somewhat. Here are the things we got, you know, new seal, comes with new bolts. I've already ordered this kit once from SCP Euro, so basically all this stuff right here is for free. All I have to do is pay shipping to return it. Same thing with the oil. Might as well do the oil change right now. It makes it a lot easier too, less of a mess. And then same thing with this serpentine belt that I'm gonna be replacing too. It's the exact same one, Continental, pretty good. The kit that I had gotten came with all the pulleys, but I'm not going to replace all the pulleys because they're not necessary. But the serpentine belt is for sure a little bit worn out, so we'll be replacing that. All this basically somewhat for free. Like I said, all you have to do is pay shipping back. I did order these because I just upgraded all my suspension stuff, and I forgot to put these. I think the ones that are on right now are pretty good. This is for the sway bar, but I thought I'd do that. And then this will probably be a separate video too about this voltage regulator for the alternator. But this is what we're gonna be doing today: oil change, serpentine belt, and oil filter housing gasket. And you will need to remove the intake a little bit, so it comes with new O-rings for the intake. Might as well replace those too. So first thing we're gonna do is, like I said, we have to remove the intake, so we're gonna loosen up this charge pipe and everything, get that out of the way. That way we can move the intake at least a little bit to give us room to reach a bolt that's kind of impossible to get to without moving the intake. You have to move the intake because it's like right there somewhere, and it's in the way with the intake. So all right, so I'm draining the oil basically. Currently draining the oil. I'm gonna drain up here too, because once you loosen this up, the drain also falls down. A little tip is you loosen it up a little bit, and then you'll hear it start draining down, and then you just let it sit there, or else you're gonna have oil coming out of here a little bit, like so, and you'll see that it starts to drain. Leave it like that. You will need an 11mm socket to get each one of these nuts, or I think one of these are bolts, but each one, take them off. That way we can scoot this or remove it. All right, here we are. We removed the intake. There it is, right there. Came out pretty easy. Didn't even have to remove the cowl. I verified right now that it's actually the oil filter housing gasket, because there's some moisture right there. All right, I want to go get a light so you guys can see the intakes. The intakes actually are not too bad. As you can see, they are not that bad. I have seen worse. When I first cleaned them up, they were really bad. But you can see they're not too bad. It's all wet right there where it mounts to. Another reason might be just because there's a lot more crankcase pressure now that I'm running more boost. That's why I got that breather right there. It relieves pressure from the crankcase, which stops your seals from blowing out like a balloon. Especially if you have a weaker or older valve cover gasket, usually that makes them blow through cracks, or makes them crack, or through the gaskets. My best guess, it's going through here, because I'm telling you, this thing is not that old. It's probably like 30,000 miles old, this gasket, because I've replaced it before. All right, so I actually had to remove that Mickey Mouse flange, which is right there. I've already upgraded it to the aluminum one. I did that so I could reach the bolt, which is like this. So I can take out the bolt like this. As you can see, there's the bolt. So I had to remove it. If you want, you could use an 8mm wrench because it does fit right here. But as you can see, it's stripped a little bit. So I would suggest using the actual tool that torques. Next, I'm gonna get a 13. Remove this bolt right here that holds in these two lines right here. Next is going to be this one right here, this one right here, and the one that needed to be removed with the intake. Alright, here we are. I took out, I guess, the gasket that was bad. Feels pretty hard, to be honest. It feels a little bit too hard. It doesn't feel flexible much anymore. This one still feels flimsy, flexible, like it still has its form. This one for sure is hard. This one, I can see why this one's the one that failed. It was one on the base. New gasket is on. Slight film of oil right here on the gasket. Make sure to seat it properly. Make sure not to pinch it. And then we get the long bolts and then the other bolts that go around it, which should be these separate ones, 1, 2, and 3. I'm down to 15 to 16 foot-pounds. So the kit came with new O-rings for the oil cooler lines. Replace those before you put it on, just because it's always good to replace them. They kind of go bad and leak. Just attach them together with the one bolt. It goes tight. I don't know the specs, but I just tightened it down until it was tight. And that's pretty much it. Alright, here are the old gaskets. They were not bad, but always replace them when you remove the intake. Now all we gotta do is put in these bolts evenly. And then that's pretty much it. That's how you replace the gasket. Now put everything back on, check the leaks, and you're good to go.